Well, welcome in, everybody. It's Disney Dialects. Hello, Jen. Good to see you.
Hello, Pete. Good to see you.
I am excited about tonight. This was one of our artists that when I met him down in Epcot and we started to doing a little bit of background research, we were blown away with what all he's accomplished so far in his career. And I can't wait to talk about that tonight and where he's going for the future. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is, and I'd like to say that he is the latest onion in the bag of dialogues, guests, and we are going to peel away those layers. And boy,
Yes.
are there a lot of layers.
Yes, he is incredibly accessible across multiple fronts. You're going to highlight a couple of those in the introduction, so I'm not
Mhm.
going to take away from that. But I will remind everybody as we're getting started tonight, usually it's a little bit different on a Thursday night. It's a busy night out in the Disney community, and we're glad that you're here with us. We'll try to pull up as many of your comments throughout the stream as we can. Also, remind you that the moderators are dropping the links in for our guests for all their social media fronts throughout the show. And they are also, if you're watching on replay, because we do get a lot of replay from the UK. God bless our UK fans. I You guys can check it out. The links also in the description of the video. So you'll see they see the banner for John right here in between the dialogues logos. That's his banner
Mhm.
that I pulled off. I love it. I think it drops in a lot of his work right there. We'll be featuring that throughout the night. Also, as we're sitting doing our introductions, our interviews all the way through, you're going to see a ton of his artwork throughout. We may reference some of it. We may not get to all of it. There's so much out there. You guys have got to go to the social media for our guests tonight. There's so much to see. And finally, if you're watching on the replay and you have a question for our guests, shoot it into the comments section at the end, and Jen or I will be glad to get that over to him on email or social media, get an answer for you, and get it posted in there, as we never want any guests. Question for our guests to be left out. So, without further ado, it's always my pleasure to. This is I don't, every time I turn it over to you at the end, you outdo me on the close. But I got to be honest, you crushed the openings, and I know you're going to do it on this one because wow, I've seen the opening. It's pretty special. How about starting
Yeah,
us up?
this is a good opening. This is a good one. So, oh,
Don't worry about it. You're good.
okay, let's get started.
Let's get started.
Our guest tonight has had stellar career with Disney, bringing to life some of the most beloved characters ever seen on stage and screen. From Prince Charming, Prince Philip, and Prince Eric to Bert from Mary Poppins and even Tarzan, to name a few.
Hmm.
He has embodied the very spirit of Disney magic through his performances. He has also delivered the magic in some of Disney's most iconic park attractions and live shows, from lighting up the night in the Main Street Electrical Parade to celebrating the season in the Very Merry Christmas Parade, to
Yeah.
thrilling audiences as part of the cast of Fantasmic, and even swinging onto the stage in Tarzan Rocks at Disney's Animal Kingdom. His Disney journey has touched nearly every corner of the parks. John's modeling career spanned over 25 years, showcasing both fashion and underwear lines on some of the world's biggest stages. Throughout that time, he worked alongside supermodel icons such as Cindy Crawford, Naomi Campbell, Kate Moss, and Tyra Banks, and many more.
Can,
That's a
can I
name dropper right
can I
there.
just jump in for 1 second?
Yes.
I get to say, hey, I hung out with my son Preston. We're talking the biggest names in modeling in the world. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
Yeah. You see them everywhere. I mean, that's the cream of the crop right there. That's for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
He spent 2 years studying illustration on an art scholarship at the University of Arizona. He continued his studies at the prestigious Art Center College of Design in Pasadena, California. He is an official fine artist for the Disney parks, whose whimsical paintings can be found in various shops and galleries throughout Disneyland and Walt Disney World. John found his love of costuming in the theater. He has designed costumes for events and shows all over the country, including his most exciting work, the costuming of the New Year's Eve show on the castle stage at Disneyland.
Wow.
That's yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's very
All
cool.
right, now you thought I was name dropping before. Listen to this. Our guest has also collaborated with iconic musical figures such as, I don't know if you've ever heard of an artist called Madonna or Britney Spears.
Hold on, I
And
gotta
it's
Google. I gotta Google. Let me Google.
yeah,
Sorry.
you Google that. He is widely recognized as the featured Halloween costume model, appearing on countless costume packages found in stores everywhere.
I love that.
Oh, listen to this. This is another good one. They just keep getting better and better. As a male underwear model for over 15 years, he held the record for the most magazine covers across a span of 12 years.
I,
Wow.
I got nothing. I model my own.
I know, right?
I
I mean, I don't. Whew. Okay. Most recently, he was featured in the documentary All Male, which explores the history of the iconic men's underwear catalog that began in the early 70s.
nice.
He made his mark as a costume designer, creating looks for the singers and dancers of Disneyland's New Year's Eve show,
Hmm.
designing for the world famous Las Vegas showgirls,
Wow.
and styling performances for Thomasina, the legendary Disney rock band that continues to bring its high energy shows to venues across Los Angeles.
I love that.
Most recently, he has been busy designing costumes for an upcoming production of How to Train Your Dragon, set to debut next year, as well as contributing his creative touch to Las Vegas's Bellagio New Year's Eve Spectacular.
Wow.
We're optimistically excited for the upcoming announcement of all of the artists for the 2026 Festival of the Arts at Epcot, anticipating what week John will be featured. But tonight, we have the luxury of visiting with him right here. So please join me in welcoming into the show John Coulter.
John, welcome in.
Whew, that was a
Thank
lot.
you guys. I appreciate that.
I love it.
That
I
was a
love it.
lot.
Welcome in. We were highlighting at the beginning there while Jen was doing the introduction. We were highlighting a lot of John's work. We're going to highlight a lot more as we go through here tonight because it's across so many artistic fronts. It's incredible. So let's just start with just a simple introduction for anybody who might be meeting you out there for the first time, and then we'll kind of roll into where we want to go from there.
Well, first of all, thank you guys so much for that introduction. That was, what more can I say after an introduction like that? I appreciate that. And your photo montage, boy, you guys did a deep dive. That was impressive that you guys found all that stuff. So thank you. I
Uh-huh.
appreciate that. So yeah, I'm John. I'm a Tucson boy from Arizona who moved to Hollywood with a dream, like so many. And some of those dreams came true, some of them. And so here I am at my studio right here, continuing to work.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Real quick before we move to the next topic, because I know Jen's ready to go with some of these. She's very excited tonight. I absolutely love this stitch work, and I wanted to point out to Jen that this is spectacular stitch work that John did. She,
It is spectacular stitch work.
okay,
I'm sorry about the subject matter, but he made the subject matter look okay, I guess. He
That's
did a
funny.
great job in making it look good.
I
Not a
love it.
I
Stitch
was
fan.
a Stitch fan myself until this is the first Stitch painting I've ever
Oh,
done. And I had to figure out a way that I would love the character. And I fell in love with the character after doing this painting.
I love all the rides in this piece. I think it's absolutely
mhm,
awesome. Uh,
Thank
mhm.
you.
Fantastic there.
Very
All right,
cute.
let's roll.
So let's start by talking throughout your career in life. You've been influenced by so many remarkable figures, from the vision and creativity of Walt Disney to old illustration masters J.C. Leyendecker and Lortek, or contemporary artists like the duo team of Kevin Kidney and Jody Daly, or Hayden Evans, and Hollywood costume designers Edith Head and Bob Mackie. Could you share with us how each of these individuals has shaped your path and what lessons or inspiration you continue to carry with you from them?
Okay. Well, first of all, they're gonna love that their pictures were up there. the well, I'll start with the old masters. They were just such incredible storytellers with their illustrations that I just followed their work ever since I studied about their whole story in college, and just love what they do. And then the more contemporary artists like Kevin and Jody, Um, they are just masters of what they do, and they do so much incredible work for Disney that I kind of model my career after theirs. And I just, and same with Evan, he just is doing all this fantastic work for Disney right now. So their style and their ease with their line work, and it's just it's just inspiring. So yeah, I just love seeing what they're creating, and I just hope to be on a path like them. And these two, Bob Mackie, I've just always loved the old Hollywood movies and costumes that Edith Head has always done. I think she's done over 400 films. And the Bob
Wow.
Mackie is just, you know, I do a lot of glam, showgirl type stuff, all the sparkle. And so Bob Mackie's always been an inspiration.
Love that. Love that. As we look into all of this, you've expressed your creativity through many different forms of, artistic venture, let's say modeling, performing as a Disney cast member, acting, painting, sculpting, and I'm probably missing a few because your list is amazing. Looking back across all these artistic expressions, what was the most rewarding return for you personally? And is there one medium that speaks to your heart more beloved than the other?
Well, definitely performing aligns with my personality probably the most. And that's probably been the most fun is getting to perform and do shows, and then costuming is also super rewarding because it's just so cool to see the actors come to life in your costumes. And um, so that would be the top of my list. But then it's you it's difficult, so you need to take a break from that. And it's nice that I could go in and sit in my studio and just be by myself and start painting a Disney painting. So I kind of have the best of both worlds where I can get crazy and be with all the actors and dancers and singers and travel and do that. And then when I settle down, I could come back to my studio with my two cats and just chill out and just, paint. So it's a
I
good
love it.
mix.
Good mix. Okay. Could you tell us before we go to the next slides? Could you tell us a little bit about your whole segment here? This is amazing with your Disney princesses.
Oh, the Crescent Moon series. Yeah. I started with that one at the top there with um, the Aladdin, Jasmine. And initially, I just intended to do this one concept, but then it was such a fan favorite that I continued it. And then every year at the festival, they would look forward to the next one I was going to do because people love collecting this series. So I haven't stopped doing them yet. And there's so many princesses. So I must have done maybe 10 of them already, I think.
That's
And I
to
have a
say
new one
it's
out.
nice.
Next year, I have a new one. So,
Cool. Awesome. Well, hey, if you're going to be at the festival, looking for it, be on the alert. Got another one coming. That's pretty awesome.
You've had the opportunity to connect with some incredible figures in Disney history, including Disney legend Martha Blanding, and the iconic Stan Freeze, who led musical entertainment for Disney and Disneyland for over 45 years. Could you share with us what those encounters were like for you personally and how those interactions have impacted your journey in both life and creativity?
okay. Well, I do have a funny story about Martha um, because she's had a whole journey of many different jobs at Disney. But when I started working with her is when I was doing appearances and signings at Disneyland. She was in charge of the special events. So, and at that point, I did not know what a legend she was. And thank God, because I would have been even more nervous because I had my first signing at Disney and I didn't know what to expect. I was nervous. I didn't think anybody
Mhm.
would show up. I was worried about a million things, but the one thing that happened that I wasn't worried about happened that I didn't even think of. But there's Martha, and she's a little intimidating at first. It's the first time I had met her, and it's my first Disney signing. And people did show up, but what I didn't expect is what a few people showed up with poster boards, and they had cut out pictures, various pictures of me in my underwear and different modeling pictures.
Oh, wow.
They come with these big, huge poster boards, and I thought, oh my god, my worlds are colliding. Martha's gonna see that these people are bringing these pictures of me in these underwear shots, and I'm gonna be fired. This is my last signing. And I was like, oh no. And then she loved it. She got the biggest kick out of it and was laughing. And at that moment, I knew, okay, this woman is cool, and we're gonna be friends. And I've just loved her ever since, and I wasn't fired. And and in fact, I have her book right here.
Love it.
And it's a fascinating book, and she's just the coolest woman.
I love
So
that. Just
and it's
a small side note here on two things. Well, oh Lord, we got a cat. Um,
Oh, cat.
small
big
side
cat.
note.
That's a
Small
big
side
cat.
note on Martha sitting next to Martha is Tim O'Day, and Tim I was actually talking to him on the phone today for a little bit, and he brought up when we talked about John coming on the show, he had nothing but great things to say about you and everything and your relationship with Martha and everything. And I thought that was the perfect way for me to start our day with you was hearing such great things there. So absolutely love that. I love the fact that, I know I'm stepping out for a second, but when we talk about these iconic names and people, with Martha, with her journey, which again everybody can read about in her book, which John just showed, but also, and as you're sitting there mentioning Stan Freeze, I don't think people realized how much he did for
Oh
Disney
my,
with music.
yeah, yep,
It's just over the top.
yeah. He's had such a long career with Disney and a fascinating life. And again, he's got this incredible book. And I met him because for many years, he was in charge of all the entertainment. So he would cast all the rock bands and the musicians and all the singers at Disneyland for many, many years. And he actually created the group Thomasina. And
Oh,
that's who I started doing all the costumes for. And we became good friends. And then he had me illustrate his book right here, um, Music Mayhem and the Mouse, which is fascinating. And he's just the coolest guy. And I fell in love with him and his wife, Tara. And they're both just really good people.
I love it, love it, love it, love it.
Nice.
Well, we were talking about festivals and Disney and doing a lot of things here. Your art has been featured at the Epcot Festival of the Arts D23, which is Disney's ultimate fan experience, and the Wonderland Gallery, and out in California, to name a few. These venues where you've had the chance to interact directly with the Disney fans, and we got some pictures on the screen coming up here. What kind of feedback and personal satisfaction do you take away from those experiences, and how do you directly connect with your audience? That How does that influence you as an artist?
Well, it's just the coolest thing because you do interact directly with them because they're coming there for your signature and they buy your art. And uh, it's so cool to be, you're locked away in your studio doing your painting, and you're very alone during that time. So it's so much fun to get out there and introduce your paintings and see what their reactions are. And it's just you're sitting there and you get to see people's faces light up when they look at your art. And really, that I think that's the whole reason all of us artists do this, because it's just so you just leave these events just feeling full of gratitude, and your heart's full because you're making people so happy with your art. And it's cool because they're all these people that are Disney art collectors. They're just a really unique and sweet group of people,
Hmm.
and they're really appreciative. So it's just it's just a blessing, really, just to get to be there and meet everybody.
I love that. And side note, hidden egg for everybody watching the show. Picture down right next to Jen is John with our good friend Fenway Fan. So
Uh,
happy to catch that picture. I was like, oh, I gotta put Fenway in there. So we love Fenway. All right.
That's awesome.
Oh boy, here we go.
Okay, here we go. Yes, those are his abs. As we mentioned in our introduction, you've portrayed numerous roles in Disneyland and Tokyo Disneyland parades and shows, and you were even part of the opening cast of Tarzan Rocks, Disney's aerial stunt musical at Animal Kingdom, where you played Tarzan. Looking back on all of these performances, are there any that stand out to you as the most magical, both in the joy of performing them and in the way that they were presented to the audiences?
Well, gosh, they're all so magical in their own way. Of course, the electrical parade at Disneyland, that was my first job at Disneyland. Um, so I don't know if anything could top that first magical moment when you're rehearsing at 10 o'clock at night, the park is closed and you're going down Main Street. As Prince
So
Charming,
cool.
it's pretty amazing. So I mean, they all have their moments. Tarzan was really a unique experience because it was such an involved aerial, I mean, a stunt show. Um, and it was because I was the first Tarzan, they were kind of learning how this whole thing was going to work too, because they they wanted me to be in special events and they wanted me to do parades. And at the time, Edgar Rice Burroughs had a very strict rules as to how they could use Tarzan. So I wasn't allowed to leave the jungle environment. So they wouldn't let me do the parades. And then what was funny was they wanted me to just be in the park sometimes. But at that time, we couldn't, that was the most naked character Disney's ever had. And they would not let us, we couldn't show our nipples. So the way they got around that was they would put a vine across the character, like when he was in the park, which was
Ah,
so funny. So it was an interesting journey with that show
I,
specifically.
I love that. I'd like to point out that Danielle says, met John at the festival. John is one of the kindest people I know. So thank you, Danielle, for putting that comment in there. Oodalali Lane,
Uh,
Kate says, I saw Tarzan Rocks. Maybe I saw John. You might have right there. And wow, you know, just to think that you were featuring such an iconic role in what you did. That's awesome. Uh, I'm going to take the next question because I think Jen is still thinking about the Tarzan thing with that and all. Yeah, not wrong. Maybe not wrong there. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, we'll keep it rolling here as we go through. I love these. Can we talk about these two pieces for a second, real quick? I love this segment that you're working on.
Thank you. Yeah, that was such a colorful and fun movie that the inspiration was very easy for this piece. And I do a series of many paintings that have this balcony scene with the 9 images. And so this cocoa painting fit perfectly into that concept. But you know what's funny about this one? When you do an art piece for Disney, you have to go through a lot of the lawyers and other creatives have to approve every step of the way, the sketch and then the color. And what I didn't know, we do a lot of research for these paintings, but what I didn't know about this one was that every character has a different bone color depending on where they're at in the movie. I guess when they're forgotten, they become either whiter or darker. I can't remember, but I had to specifically change each of the characters' bone color,
Wow.
so that reflected the exact story. Which
Details.
normally I get all my research correct, but that was something I didn't know.
Yeah,
And they
I
had
had
to,
no idea either. That's incredible.
yeah.
Well, my question for this slide as we go through, I just wanted to highlight your art is, there's so much magic that comes from live theater, along with the preparation and research that goes into bringing a performance, or sculpting or painting to life. Could you share with us a little bit about your creative process flows and kind of where you find some of your inspiration?
Yeah. What's funny, I think with whether it's painting, sculpting, costume design, it all starts with a ton of research, but which is actually easy to do now because you don't have to, it's all right on on the computer. So you're just doing a
Yeah.
ton of research. Then you start getting your ideas on paper. So it's a lot of sketching. Um, and then what I like to do is I like to tell a story through my art where I'm not just painting a scene from the animated movie. So I try and come up with a unique, fresh way to kind of tell the story but in a new way, some way that they haven't seen it. So you come up with an idea and then you go online, start Googling to make sure
Hmm.
that your brilliant idea hasn't been done a million times, you know. So and then you just start painting or
I love
start
it.
yeah.
That's hey, you know what? Unfortunately that doesn't happen for me. I love that so many of our artists have kind of talked about that, Jen, and that being a
Hmm.
flow factor. Absolutely love
Hmm.
that. Love that.
I love this. When we were doing research on this interview, this is the one thing that surprised me the most. I had no idea that this was even going to be part of this conversation. But you've often spoke about your love of the circus and clowns, and most recently you debuted your newest character, Big Top the Clown, at the Bob Baker Marionette Theater. Now, Big Top was also honored as a guest by Dick Van Dyke
Yes.
himself at his charity event, Vandy Camp. Could you share with us what inspires this love of the circus and what kind of feedback you've received so far about Big Top the Clown?
Yeah, it's definitely a career turn, but
Hmm.
I've always loved the circus. I grew up. My parents would take me to the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus every year, and I don't know if it was the glitz and uh, the sparkle and the costuming that fascinated me. I grew up in a fairly small town, so to see this world come alive just blew me away. And I always wanted to be a part of the circus, but that was not in my plan. And I knew that I couldn't be a lion tamer or like a trapeze guy. So I thought, well, you know what? I could probably be a clown, but it never happened. And sometimes you gotta make your own. You gotta make the dreams happen. So I'm like, well, I'm a costume designer. Why can't I just make a clown costume and be a clown? And you can. So I did. The funny thing was, I spent so much time designing the costume, coming up with the makeup and everything that I get all ready. I drive to the event, and on the way to the event, I'm like, I don't have one clown skill. I can't juggle. I can't. I don't know jokes. I'm like, what am I gonna do? I didn't even have a name, so it was it was a journey that day, and it was funny. But then I came up with my clown voice, and
Oh my word.
oh boy, and yeah, and then I just they saw me at the Bob Baker thing, and then they invited me to the Dick Van Dyke event, and um, met the most famous clown right there,
Yes.
Bozo. Um, and now I'm into it. It's so much fun, and I'm joining there's like a clown whole community that I'm now part of. But you
I
know what's
just
funny?
have to
I'm not
say,
going to learn what.
I was gonna say this, like when you think of everything you've done, you've gone from like underwear model with Tyra Banks and Kate Moss to Bozo the Clown. I mean, if that's not like all encompassing, I don't know what is.
I have to agree with you, Jen. I think it just states to the talent
Dude.
of what John
Hmm.
has. Like we said at the
Yep.
beginning, you're able to adapt and take this art form and make it your own. And I love it. I think you're when I looked at the clown as here as I was putting it together, the colors of the way you've done the makeup and everything, with
Hmm.
everything, it just flows really good.
Oh,
So yeah, and the fact that I saw you with Bozo there, I'm thinking, wow, okay, that's kind of like the Walt Disney of clowning. It's like, wow, you know.
Disney of clowning.
so so
That's
yeah.
funny.
is this something we're going to open up more into in the future as we go along?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. There's gonna be merch coming out. There's no stopping Big Top. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think maybe one night we got to get Big Top on one of our shows here to come in with us.
Yeah.
We need to
That'll be
interview
kind
Big.
Well,
of.
Big Top has no skills, so I don't know where that conversation is gonna go.
Well, hey, we
But
never know. Well, let's talk for a minute, John. Every artist dreams of the magical moment in their career when everything kind of comes together and fills them with pride. For you, one of those moments must have been seeing your costumes come to life on the stage at the Disneyland Castle. Being a former cast member and an artist, it kind of tied everything together. Could you share with us what that experience meant for you, both personally and then professionally?
yeah, that was a cool experience. When they first came out on that stage, and with that castle in the background, and then I looked out at the sea of people. And then they had big, huge monitors up, so you could see the costumes up close. And then that was when Thomasina was performing, and she just brings these costumes to life. So it was. I'm not gonna lie, there might have been some pixie dust in my eye. I might have shed a few tears. It was it was pretty epic. It was cool.
And we're going to share those pictures a little bit later when we talk a little bit more about that at towards the back end of the show. I want to transition real quick. Jen loves it when I start ad libbing, but uh, these your artwork that's right here. You're now obviously a established artist, but you're now also a merchandise artist. As I also saw, there was phones with this logo on it, and many other pieces of art there. But you had a shirt available. That had to really, really touch you when you see your art put on apparel that people are going to wear in their daily life.
Oh, yeah, it's super cool. I mean, the biggest throw probably was the Minnie Mouse ears that I did, and just to be walking around the park and see somebody in those ears, it's it's a cool feeling. It's pretty exciting. Yeah, it's fun.
And and if you want to see those years, they are featured on the thumbnail for this stream,
Mhm.
everybody. So you can do that already.
Yes.
I love it.
So now we'd like to take a few minutes and explore the different segments of your artistic journey. So, as we do, we'd love for you to share your inspiration, some of your favorite works, memorable moments that come flashing back, or any details that might help our audience connect with your passion. So, let's begin with painting. Could you tell us about your approach and what it means to you when it comes to painting?
Okay. Ooh, that's a tough one. I guess my approach is always, what can I do that hasn't been done before? What is a new way to look at this? And I think what makes me different from most of the artists, and you've probably noticed this, is that I don't stick to one style.
Hmm.
Because what I do first is I think of a concept. I'm like, ooh, that could be a cool story. What would be the best style to tell that story? So I kind of hop around with different styles. So it keeps it fun and interesting for me. But as an artist, I don't know if that would be the best advice to give another artist, because sometimes my artwork isn't as recognizable as other artists.
Mhm.
So as fun as it is, I don't know how business smart it is, honestly, you know?
Okay, interesting. These are gorgeous pieces right here.
Hmm.
Of course, I'm a huge Elvis fan and a Dolly fan, so
Yeah,
you hit both of them on there. That's really cool. Okay.
thank you.
Well, let's jump over to sculpture, and we'd love for you to share your inspiration in this area, some of your, favorite pieces you've created, any memories that come to work in the process or details that can, again, build that connection with our viewing audience. I love this popcorn box. I'm a mark for this.
Thank you. It actually lit up, and the popcorn, like, sparkled with lights, so it looked kinda like it was popping,
I
and
love
then there was
that.
inside of it, but yeah, there's that circus and clown love, you
Hmm.
know? But, yeah, I started sculpting as a child. I collected Smurfs when I was little, and
Nice.
I would sculpt all the little miniature foods and um, little accessories for them, and that's kind of how I started. I've just never stopped working with my hands since then. And uh, I wrote a children's book. I mean, years ago, and these sculptures are all for that children's book that has not happened yet, but it's on my things to do list for the last 20 years. But
These are
yeah,
amazing, amazing pieces. We had a question. Kate asked about the Elvis painting, if it was a wood inlay. Is that a wood inlay?
the whole thing is painted on wood, and then I just painted the solid red, and then I used a glossy uh, gel medium mixed with the black paint to paint that on top of the wood.
Okay, there you go, Kate. There's your answer.
So, let's shift now to costume design. Could you share with some of the inspiration behind your work in this area and highlight a few of your favorite designs? And let's reflect on any memorable moments maybe that come back to you, anything that can help our audience connect with your costume
Yeah,
design.
uh, I think, well, obviously, Broadway and theater is my biggest inspiration, um, but the whole, how do I put this? I Coming from a theater background, when you're on stage, you want to feel confident, you want to feel good about yourself. And when I'm working with top caliber artists, I want them to go on stage and have a good performance and have me kind of be a part of that with the costuming. So it's the talented artists that I'm costuming. Kind of, they really are my inspiration, um, because I want the costume to match their talents. Because I would hate for them to be these incredible singers, and then they go out with this busted, schleppy looking costume. So I like really try and live up to their talent as a singer or actor or whatever. Um,
I love that.
so
Well, hashtag I'm stealing Busty and Schleppy. I'm stealing that so that I can use it because I think that'll be able to describe me. I love this right here. This is, if I'm correct, this is the New Year's Eve from
Yeah.
costuming from out in Disneyland. Could you talk just a little bit about that piece for a minute? That's just wow.
Yeah. Thank you. That is, uh, I think this is the very first New Year's Eve show I did for Disney. And Thomasina, she she kind of directed this. She said, I want to be an ice queen, but I don't want to be Elsa, but I want to be an ice queen. Um, so that's the costume that I came up with for her. And then I got to do the whole band, and there were dancers, and uh, it was pretty amazing.
That's that's just unreal, right, Jen? I mean, it's
Hmm.
uh,
Yes, it's amazing.
and I should highlight here, John's costuming is we're talking Vegas showgirls. We're talking, if you saw in the previous slide down here in the bottom, you're talking seasonal stuff. You're talking drag queen stuff. You Disney. You've been everywhere as far as like the costuming. Broadway. I mean, this is incredible. Real quick, my question is: so it starts because I'm not a costumer, but I appreciate and respect it. It starts with a sketch and it
Yeah,
ends with what you see on the right. Am I
right.
that's correct, right? That's amazing.
Hmm. And it's
So
before the sketch, it starts with the client. The client usually has a concept, and then there's discussions on what they're looking for, and then yeah, then I come up with a sketch, and then and I don't do all the sewing. I have an amazing seamstress, Robin Chartier, who does a lot of the majority of my sewing. I just do some handwork and I do all the hats and stuff, but
mhm,
I have seamstresses that do the majority of all the sewing, really.
that's so cool. So when you're drawing your sketch, are you seeing the colors that you're seeing there already in your head?
Oh yeah, yeah,
That's pretty
Hmm.
absolutely,
cool.
That was the
yeah.
comment I was going to make, that the colors are so vibrant, and it just works so well.
Yeah, it's
Love it.
I'm again, hats off. Just when the onion, Jen talks about this all the time since we've
Thank
started
you.
this show. We find people when you start, you think you're coming on one thing. I saw your artwork at the festival and I was blown away. I should also say that watching John at the festival, I was talking with Fenway and I was waiting because she had a guest come up to talk to her. And I stepped back and I was watching John interact with those who came up. And you would have thought that every person that came up to John was the only person in the park because of your
Oh,
interactivity, your direct content. You took the
thank
time. I was blown away. That's why when I came home, I said, Jen, we've got to get him as a
Mhm.
guest because I loved your art. And she's like, art? Wait till you see blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh my word. So this is really cool. And I'm glad you do this. And I can't wait to hear now that we know you as we see things that come out and hear and see the different works you're going to do. I'm going to transition now to a thing that everybody loves in our community as we come to talking about the official Disney art. And again, there's the ears right there that we were talking about earlier in the stream right there. Just share with us the same thought process, of, what you're thinking when you do your art. We got so much different here with Maleficent and Hook and Snow White and all. I just your art in general and your feelings.
you. Well, thank you. Again, I start with um, okay, I want, like, for example, Snow White. What can I do with Snow White that hasn't been done before? So, because there's a million, there's fan art and there's been Disney art for years. So I'm like,
Mhm.
what can I do that hasn't been done? So then, of course, you start doing the research, and um, a lot of my work is done from the vintage or the older films. I gravitate toward all the old classics as opposed to all the newer stuff. So you'll see me do a lot of Snow White and Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty and the older movies. Um, Although that one, Pirates of the Caribbean, that's my newest painting there.
That's with Red. That's
Red.
Yeah,
Pirate red.
they need to have you down at the brand new whatever beer crack and barrel
Chicken
whatever they're
barrel.
calling it. Yeah, it's
Cracker
taken
Barrel. It's not the Cracker Barrel.
that's what I've been calling it because it's taken them so long to get it open. I feel like they're building
right.
a cracker barrel instead of the Creighton barrel, but that would be an awesome piece down there with that. I love this. We did have one question that goes back to your costuming. I'll throw it to you, John. It comes from Udalali Lane. She said, Pete, how hard is it to create a costume that works well with the show? Is easy for the performers to perform in while choosing the fabrics that are durable and have the right textures and movement? That's interesting. Good question.
Good question. Yeah, every show's different. Every show has different needs. I've learned over the years about fabrics and how to costume dancers as opposed to costuming us. Like for example, the Vegas showgirls, they're not dancing too hard, so they're kind of just parading your costumes. So you can get a little more elaborate and have bigger headdresses for characters like that. But yeah, when you're doing dancers, you have to be very cautious about what materials you're using, and they do, yeah, certain costumes can't be washed at all, so you have to be
Mm.
aware of that too, because you can't design something that they're going to be really sweating in. That you have to be able to wash these in a way, you
Mhm.
know. I'm getting distracted by this guy.
Yeah, I see. It happens. It
Sorry.
happens. I love
um,
that. Okay.
yeah.
Thank you, Kate, for that question. Also, Corby kind of had the same question, just worded a little bit differently, so we were able to answer two at one. Jen, I know there's one on here that you absolutely love, and you want everybody to know it. Put it on your Christmas list.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to get me anything for Christmas, you can get me Midnight Dreams, which is the Cinderella artwork right there, front and center on the screen.
All right, we'll keep going. Jen, I think we're going over to you. I lost my spot for a second.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about a very unique chapter in your career, your time as a hair and makeup artist working for Hugh Hefner
Oh, yeah.
at the Playboy Mansion.
You guys are covering it all.
This is just another layer of the onion that I am able to peel off. Could you share with our audience a little bit about that experience and what it was like for you and what stands out the most
Yeah,
from that period?
it's funny. People ask me how did that happen? How did you become Hugh Hefner's the makeup artist for the mansion? Long story short, I have been a makeup artist for 20 years here in LA, and I would do a lot of the sexy lingerie photo shoots where a few of them had been Hugh Hefner's girlfriends. So I got to know them, and then they asked me to do their makeup for their own private event. So I would go to the mansion, um, which was pretty exciting the first time I went there. I didn't know what to expect, and they had me. I would do makeup in the bedroom, and they told me that first of all, Hugh is very generous with his mansion, and he has a ton of events there and parties and movie screenings, and but I was the only one that was allowed into the bedroom because that's
Oh,
where I would do girls' makeup, and he would be in there just hanging out and just a really really sweet. He was a really sweet guy. So that was really it was fun, and then after Hughes got married, then I just started doing his wife, Crystal Hefner, and she's actually a huge Disney fan.
really?
And she's a member of Club 33, and the first time I went to Club 33 at Disneyland was with Crystal. Um,
Wow.
Oh,
yeah,
That's
so
very cool.
that's if you ever need a plus one buddy, I'm more than willing to go. I just throwing it out there. That is awesome. I tell you what. I mean,
Mhm.
the thing about the Playboy Mansion and Hugh Hefner and everything, it's an iconic part of our pop culture history
yeah,
that
Mhm.
I can't imagine, where we'd be today without some of the things that Hugh brought into it and doors he opened up and everything. Yeah, there's some ups and downs, and that's with everybody. It doesn't matter who it is. Everybody has their ups and downs. But man, he was a genius when it came to the whole magazine and figuring all that out at a time when
oh,
nobody else could. So
yeah.
that's
He
pretty
actually
cool
did
that you got to
a
meet
lot.
him.
He did a lot for women's rights, and he was a real
Yeah.
activist.
There's a lot of things that he did. I got into a heated discussion one day because I'd done a research paper for my first year of college on Hugh Hefner from the business side of what he did.
Yeah,
And there's a ton of philanthropy that he did that he just didn't put out there. He just didn't brag about it. And it
right.
wasn't until later in life when people brought stuff up. So that's pretty cool. We did have
Yeah.
one question that came from the chat, and thank you for Corby for highlighting for me. Thank you, Fast Pass, for being a member. What king of paints do you use? So
What
What
was the
kind of
question?
what
paints?
kind? I
What
think it's
kind
what's
of
supposed to be.
paints?
What kind of paints
Well,
do you
you're all
use?
right behind me. You know what? I use all different kinds of paints, but every brand, from Winsor Newton to Golden. Um, I experiment with all of them, all
Okay.
different types.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Before we come over to the next question, could we talk about this segment of your painting right here with your jungle cruises and a world of love? I love this whole. There's like what 8 or 10, I believe. I
Yeah,
think as I
it's
was
a
looking through,
series that keeps growing.
this is
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Those, it's funny, those started out going back to what kind of paint I use. These, all my Disney paintings are done with acrylic paint because it's quick drying. Um, so that's the main reason I use acrylic. Because you can, it's just easy to work with for Disney because sometimes you have to make corrections, and with this kind of paint, you can kind of do that.
Okay.
But so I started with acrylic paint, and then I noticed a lot of the Disney artists were younger than me, and they all were doing digital art, and they were cranking it out. And I was spending months on these paintings. I was like, "What am I doing? These guys are cranking these paintings out." So recently, I've dove into the digital art, and it's a great tool. It doesn't replace real paint,
Right.
so I do both. I'll do some digital and then some traditional hand painted stuff.
So, a quick question: a piece like this on like Jungle Cruise and start to finish, rough time frame, hours wise.
Oh, well, when you do digital art, it's tracked, and everything
Okay.
is at least 100 hours.
Oof.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. All right.
That's very cool.
We'll jump over here. We got some more art we're going to talk about in a second. As we begin to wrap up our conversation, I'd love for you to share a look into the future for us. Obviously, we got a little big top discussion, but what are some of the other must-do items you're still thinking about on your bucket list creatively? Where is your journey going to take you? If with what you can share, I know some things you might want to keep close to the vest, but what can you share with us?
Well, I would like my journey to take me to the bank, but it hasn't yet. But um, I still want to do costuming for Broadway, children's book. I would like to get that published eventually.
Cool.
Uh, I do want to design costumes for the parades. I would like to design an entire parade for Disney.
Oh, that would be
So those
awesome.
are the bucket list things that I'd like to do.
I'd love for you to plus up the current parade. That would really could use some plussing up, but we won't get into that right now, as we do. Uh, let's let's talk about the artwork here for a minute. This is awesome. I love some of the work with the villains. Tell our audience a little bit about this.
Yeah, that's all done by hand painted. And I started, of course, with one villain, with the concept of the frame, where a lot of the story is told within the frame. I don't think you can see it in these, but all the frame is just elements of the other characters in the story.
Oh, I
Uh,
can see it now.
Hmm.
yeah, there's
Oh,
different like
wow.
tigers and or
Y-
crocodiles in that one, um,
That's cool.
and it's just I think I gravitate toward the villains because it I can incorporate the costume design into into these paintings as well. So I think that's why I mostly do the people rather as opposed to the Disney
Okay,
animal character, because it just goes back to my costuming that I
that you
like to
do.
do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
On a side note, have you seen the new villain show down there yet? Have you been to
No,
Florida since?
I can't wait to.
Oh my God, it's so
You seen
so
it?
good. It is
Is it?
so
Yeah.
so it is everything from the lighting, the theming, the color contrast that they do, the flow of the content as it goes across the
Yeah.
different is amazing. I believe you'll give props. The costuming is
Yeah.
spectacular, is spectacular. I have watched that thing more times than I want to say, and I'll go back
Really?
more times over. Yeah, I think it's really good. So
Which
very
park
excited
is it
there.
at? Is it at Epcot or
It's at
where?
Hollywood. It's at Hollywood,
Oh,
back behind the new Muppets, as I'm calling it. Where
oh,
yeah, it's back in that building right back there. I think there our anticipation from Jen and I talking with all of our crew on Friday night is we anticipate that whole show will go over to the Villains Land once it happens, which
yeah.
I hope they do, and I hope they expand on it with more villains. It's kind of what we talked about. We'd love to see more of the villains in the mix on there, and take that
Oh,
theater and make it a Muppet theater. Let's get it. Let's get
I
let's
know.
get. You know what?
Well,
John
puppets.
DeCure Jr. is available. Get him over there and get some Muppets together. That's what I'm
I
saying.
agree. I
Uh,
agree with you.
Real quick, we want to highlight. You can find John's Instagram there.
Mhm.
Guys, go over. You can, Jen gives me a hard time because there's times where I'll get lost in social media land when I'm sitting at night on the thing. You can get lost in his Instagram with so many different topics across so many things. I probably spent in preparation for this video, this interview, I probably spent 2 hours through his Instagram. Look, even stuff that we didn't put in. There's so much more over there. Please take the time, go over there. Debbie's been dropping links in all throughout the night.
Mhm.
So we'd really appreciate you doing that. He does have his YouTube right here. He started that during COVID, right, John? And that
Oh, I did. It's the most unwatched YouTube channel I think there is.
That's not true.
please.
That was
Oh, oh, boy.
my crazy quarantine phase where I was locked in my house, losing my mind. That's what that is.
There you go. Well, you could go over and check that out if you like. And of course, you got the his website, which you can get to everything through his website. You can get over and check out his art, his painting, his sculpture, his costume designs. You can also get to the shop through there. We're dropping the link in for the Etsy shop in as well. But you can get to the shop through the website or through the link that Debbie dropped in there tonight. So either way, you get through there. One of the things we always do with our guests is we do a final thought. But before I let you do that, you got to talk about this haunted mansion piece. And I threw one more stitch in just to get Jen fired up. This haunted
Oh,
mansion piece is phenomenal. I love it.
thank you. That was a fun one. The balcony of booze. Yeah, that was that was really fun to take all the characters, well, all the most popular characters,
Mhm,
and then put them all out on the balcony, like they're kind of
mhm,
celebrating a New Orleans kind of
mhm.
event, but they're all out on it's all the haunted mansion balcony. But I just thought I
Love it.
would separate them, just
I,
for something fun to do, just a different way to show these characters. You know.
I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. All right, final thought of the night. John will let you go first, and then I'll do as I always do and let the lady go first, and she'll say everything that I want to say. So it works out really good. But John, you first with a final thought.
I just want to thank you guys. I appreciate you. The amount of work that you put into this blows my mind. All the photo references you found, and uh, I really appreciate the effort that you put into this interview.
Thank you.
It's really, really nice. Yeah, thank you for supporting artists and what we do. We couldn't do it without fans and you guys, and so it's just I appreciate it very much.
Awesome. Thank you. You're welcome. Jen, final thought. Please don't talk about Tarzan.
Well, then I have nothing left to say. No,
Oh,
I'm kidding.
Lord.
Um, no, I just want to say that in doing prep for the interview and looking through everything that you have been involved in, I just want to say, like, this interview just skims the surface, I
Mhm.
believe, of what
Absolutely.
you have accomplished. This is just like a top line summary of, okay, this. But to actually get into stories and, the storytelling behind it and all of the things that you've done, we could be here for hours. So I just want to encourage everybody, take some time, go through his website. It's stunning artwork. Go through the Instagram. So many things you're going to see there that, I mean, like I said, those onion layers are just peeling right off. You just you think you're meeting an artist and you find out that that's just one part of it. And then all of the other things fall behind it, and it's amazing. So I just want to say thank you for
Thank you.
sharing your talents with us, for being here today. And I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing you at Festival of the Arts in January.
Yes, I will be there.
Nope, I didn't say it.
Oh, oh,
Uh,
oh, no, I didn't say it either.
uh,
You didn't hear that from me.
yeah, no, we'll delete that later.
Yeah,
If it gets out, I'm blaming Debbie Bernfeld. Um,
yeah.
the I want to say first, thank you for one, your consistent follow up with me. John's been excessively busy with, as you guys can see, with everything he does. And I follow him on Instagram. I've been following for quite some time, and he would reach out to me periodically and just say, "Hey, I haven't forgot about you. Still want to get this done." I really appreciate your professionalism in that. I also appreciate your openness when some guy comes rolling up in a scooter and starts saying, "Hey, I'd like to interview you." The fact that you gave us a chance over here, as with your peers that have joined us, and everybody knows our list that we've all these incredible artists. I say it every time. You've added an additional level of raising this channel up and making it better. Being here tonight, I'm grateful to all you do. I challenge you, like Walt said, to never give up on constantly creating, because I think Walt, if he sat here tonight, would be really impressed across so many facets of what you do. So thank you for that. Festival of the Arts, we will be doing a show on the Festival of the Arts coming up soon as Disney announce it. And we will be highlighting this show and many others, everybody. So don't you worry. Once we find out where everybody's going to be and the artists are going to be there, we will be letting you know. John, I'll say hang tight for me backstage for a minute. Jen and I will do a quick close, and then we'll chat with you before we go. Jen, I got goosebumps again. It happens at the end of every show, and I think, wow, we just interviewed
Hmm.
somebody that was so talented and made a new friend. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, there's so many things that John has accomplished and that he's
Hmm.
been involved in. I mean, like I said earlier, from an underwear model to a clown,
From Broadway to Disney and back,
uh,
and to
everything in
Vegas, and
between. I mean,
yeah.
is there anything he can't do?
I would challenge that if there's anything out there for Disney. Being the fact that he was friends with several of the
Mhm.
Disney princesses, that he was friends with Tarzan, is absolutely just spectacular. And to Jen's point, I want to back it up again. If you go over and take a look at his website,
Mhm.
we just touched the surface. If you like his work, there's a ways over there for you to purchase some of his work. It's not just the Disney stuff, it's the all around that's everything spectacular. Take the time to go over and do it. Speaking of spectacular, we're continuing this trend. We have, I've got another art. We just signed another artist, and I'll talk about that more next week. But right now, I want to talk about coming September the 30th is Jason Ratner to the channel. We are ecstatic about Jason Ratner. I have been
Mhm.
also working with him time to time to time, trying to get everything lined up. Jen, his work with Sorcerer Mickey is spectacular.
Yes, it
Spectacular.
is.
It's
Yes,
spectacular.
it is. Everyone knows how much I love Sorcerer Mickey, and it just jumps off the page. I mean, yeah, it's great. I can't wait for him to join us.
Love it. Well, I thank you for everything from you tonight, and the great job that you did. We thank our guests for being here. We are going to podcast, everybody, not just on YouTube. We are YouTube here, but I am in the process of
Mhm.
working to get our entire dialogues portfolio. I think we've got like 30 some streams now with
Mhm.
all of our artists, our authors, our creators, social media creators, and of course our Imagineers. We're working to get it onto the full podcast platform, Spotify and Apple and all that. That'll be coming soon. But you can also right now in the time frame, you can go back and listen to any of our shows on YouTube podcast right here as you're cutting your grass, like our friend Cakes does. You could listen to all the past shows. It's been our honor to sit here and have some dialogues with all of you tonight. We hope that you've enjoyed it and you want to come back. And we will see you the next time that we have a chat with another Disney artist, and I may have an Imagineer. I know I'm not supposed to say things, Jen, but I'm getting it out. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I know you're going to cut me off. We'll talk to you next time on the show, everybody. Good night.